Hey, welcome to my. Hold on, I got you. Hold on, welcome to my channel. The Underrated Dark is your street, the number one grinder, one of the best kid speakers on YouTube, the best of the business. Yes, I am. I back up with my work. This is the Underrated MMA Sports Talk number 11. That's right. Number 11. Now we introduce the one and only. Oh, Maurice George Pace, the Emperor of Lady Body Building. How you feel? And MMA expert consultant.
Good evening, folks, and how y'all doing? I hope y'all enjoyed your weekend, even though it's a short weekend.
Yeah. So how was your week? How was your weekend so far?
Well, I had some company. My nephew and his niece came by. And my niece, my nephew, well, actually, my nephew and my great niece, and
Oh,
because me and
you
him.
grand uncle.
Well, I got quite a few great nieces and nephews because I have, like I said, I have older brothers and sisters,
And they
and
have kids.
and some of them are like maybe a few years younger than I am, and some might be a little older than me. But generally, yeah, that's how it is. We have a big family, you know. But like I said, it's uneventful as usual. Not much to do. Like where I live like in a one stoplight town, so yeah, not much
Okay.
thing to do around here. Yeah, not as exciting as the big city of New York.
Okay. Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess James got in touch with me. He said he wasn't feeling good, so he'd be back next week. I haven't heard
All right.
anything. I haven't heard anything from Brother Watcher, but I talked to him a few days ago. He said so. He said he's definitely on, so hopefully he get on. So I guess let's just get into it.
Alrighty. So
Go.
anyway, tonight, I'm sorry. The weekend was big for women's MMA. I mean, it was a big weekend for MMA. As you know, Invicta. If no one knows about it, Invicta is the only solo women's organization for MMA fighters, and they just made it premiere Friday night, and now it's with a new company. Invicta used to be on part of UFC, used to be on the UFC Fight Pass every so often, but now they're with Access TV. You know, Access TV is a network where they have Impact Wrestling. Also, they used to have one time. I think they were showing the lingerie league. Football.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we playing football and lingerie? Well, pretty much bras and panties, might as well say. And they made a debut, and for the debut, they had two title fights. It was
Mm.
the co-main event was the current women's atomweight champion Alicia Half-Pat Zapatella versus a Brazilian fighter by the name of Jessica Delbone, and also on the main event, fighting for the vacated women's flyweight title was Karina Rodriguez versus another Brazilian by the name of Diana. How would you say Juan Quotario? I mean, I just can't. Some of these names I can't say right, so I'm not gonna try to chop it up. And then Friday, that same night, pretty much on Showtime. Bellator is one of the second or third biggest organization in MMA, and they had a pretty good. I think they had a pretty stacked. They had at least one fight on the prelims, but three women's fights in the main card. Now, one was the return of Valerie Lareda. Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh, Valerie. And
Oh,
she originally.
hey, keep that to yourself. None of that stuff. And this is PG, all right? Yeah.
Okay. Well, of course, there's PG-13, but okay, we PG. But anyway, Valerie fought last year,
Okay.
and she has been in action since then. I mean, and with her last fight, she knocked a woman out by the name of Tara Graf. And then
Oh,
her
okay.
fight was a return against a newcomer by the name of Hannah Guy. Now, originally, Valerie was supposed to have been on the prelims, but because one of the guys had to drop out because of their fight was scratchy because of either COVID or whatever else, they
Mm-hmm.
moved the fight up. Then also on that same card was Janae Harding versus Leo McCourt, and that they
Mm-hmm.
fight as featherweights. And then the main fight is Chris Cyborg versus Leslie Peacemaker Smith, and this is their second fight. They fought like about 5-6 years ago in the UFC, and that was one time. If you remember, everyone remember watching this. ESPN was following Chris Cyborg, when she was getting ready to make her debut with the UFC, and then there's a part where she's trying to because Chris is a big woman, and
Right.
they had to fight a catch weight of 140. And if you ever watch it, all you gotta do is pull it up on. ESPN did a special on her, and there's
Oh.
one part where she's crying because it's so much. They had to try to heat and water. If you know how fighters had to cut weight, and she
Mm-hmm.
was just pretty much crying. And Tito Ortiz at the time was, Tito Ortiz is, he was her manager, and he was just standing there, laughing at one point. But he was, but still, man, she knew what she was
Mm-hmm.
going through. So
Right.
this is a second fight between Peacemaker Smith and Cyborg at 145. and pretty much the outcome of that was obvious.
Okay. All right. Any other fights that you want to talk about? I mean, we were going to we could you know, because it was some good ones last night.
Well, yeah. Well, the one thing was on that fight on last night on UFC. You know, there was two. Like I said, the main card of it was Cody Garbrandt versus some dude, and Cody got knocked out. And I'm not a big fan of Cody Garbrandt because you know he said some stupid stuff in the past, and you know he deserved to get knocked out. You know, he had that. You know anything about Cody Garbrandt? He came up through tough. Him and another fighter named T.J. Dillashaw. They had this rivalry for a long time. And I think the last couple of fights, Cody's been knocked out. TJ's been knocked out. I think it's the curse of tough fighters. Anytime you do, like Tony Ferguson, you know, a while ago, he has the last fight, he got beat pretty bad. And I think a lot of these tough fighters, when they do the tough show and they win this tough show, it usually after a while they kind of struggle. You know, it's not the same as if you were, you know, I mean, they worked and did all this, but then we become this reality star. You know, it's not as a curse, you know. But anyway, the two fights is one fight was for the women's featherweight division, which is lackluster over at UFC. UFC does not want to grow that division for whatsoever because they think we need to cater to the male fan base, and you don't think that guys like to see big women. Here's the thing: is when you get bigger women, you get more opportunities for knockouts. Now, you're not going to always have them as much, but you're going to get them a little bit more because the women are bigger and will be having shots. You know, like if you go to smaller divisions, like you go down from flyweight down to like Adam, you're not going to see a lot of knockouts because the women are smaller. They're not going to, going to bring a lot of power. But you get a little higher to like feather, up to, bantam, feather, and even lightweight. You're going to see more opportunities for knockouts because you have women who will be a little bit more stronger and bring in more power. But because the UFC is catered to the demographic of white males between 18 to 40, I think 1840 or 1835, I forget which one, they don't want to bring in bigger women. And you don't think that big women are appealing. But I'm from the South. I've seen some women who are just as pretty as little girls like stick figures.
Yeah, I tell you, I've been in the South for my lifetime. I ain't say Virginia now. Virginia had lost their way. We ain't gonna talk about VA, but I go North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia and Texas. They got some. They going like, wow. Like I know one brother, like he said, man, you can find something down here, man. So I don't know, man. I ain't got no doggone money. Nah, they ain't like that. Nah, you find some big one, like your game tight, yo. I'm just saying, man. I met this one. I haven't left. I wanted to go visit New York, man. Woo! I said, yeah. So George is right, but at the same time, we gonna keep it PG. They see George. See, that's all George's fault. He started me up, and I had to catch myself. I had to catch my go on GRINDA. You just talk about spiritual counsel about a little over the hour and a half ago. You win. Okay, my fault. I did talk about it on my channel, spiritual counsel. But my flesh is weak sometimes.
Flesh is weak.
Okay, gotta get it. Yeah, flesh is weak, boy. You see them. Hey, you see them think when they. Oh my God, they know what they just. Hey, and they say, yeah, I was a good man. They go.
Yeah, I told you before. I used to work at a strip club, so
Oh, there you go, man. There you go, strip club, man. There you go. There you go. We gonna talk about that after this one is.
So let's get to let's go.
We continue that when it says anything. We continue.
Yeah, but anyway, like I said, it was pretty much like I said. Mostly, I focus more on the women because the guys they have a lot. That's why I wish Watcher was here because Watcher can do a little more, and also James.
Yeah.
But with the women, they need more attention. The fact is because there's more channels dedicated to the men, and I think there's always the ideology that women fights don't sell. But it was a big, like I said again, it was a big weekend for women between what they had for and then also a couple of good fights. There was two fights I felt certain was going to go. Once you ever heard of her, she was originally Invicta's 145 champion. She got picked up about 3-4 years ago. Now she fought two of the toughest women at one point in her division. That was Chris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes. And even though she was the distance with both of them, she went 3 rounds with Chris, rounds with Amanda, and she fought by the name of Norma Dumont, the Immortal. She's originally from Brazil, and Norma was brought in one point. She did fight at 145, but she was trying to fight at 135. And her last fight in 135 was against Ashley Evans-Smith, who's a fighter that, if anybody knows Ashley Evans-Smith, she is a thief. I will tell you that. And she fought a transgender fighter by the name of Fallon Fox years ago, and she beat him.
Oh,
her, whatever you want to say it. And yes, there's a transgender MMA fighter by the name of Fallon Fox. And she fought Amanda.
Okay, good. Now I gotta ask you a question.
And anyway, Norma Dumont was fighting that last night when she's fighting Felicia Spencer. Now I was going to assume that Spencer, being a better BJ and Taekwondo expert, was going to win, but it came in favor of Norma Dumont. Dumont, from the clips I've seen, she took some kicks, she took some blows, and she took it, and she won by, I think, split decision. So, but the debate is now that even though Spencer was supposed to get the big push because she's one of the only true featherweights in the division outside of a fighter by the name of Daniel Wolf. He's supposed to originally fought, but Wolf had some kind of injury and she had to drop out. But the question is that now that Spencer got beaten and Norma Dumont is talking about going back to 135, where they still have the 145 division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think they should try to grow it, because the fact is, Norma Dumont, she is, she's Brazilian, and she is a very healthy woman. And I think her natural weight's about maybe 155, maybe 160, close to that. And her last fight, she's supposed to fight at 135, but she came in about 4 or 5 pounds over the weight limit, and they will not let you fight. If it's like just a 1 pound, they let you fight, but you got to take a cut on your purse. But she came in way over the weight limit for her last fight. Was supposed to be scheduled about a few months ago, but and then she decided to take this fight because Daniel Wolf had dropped out because of her injury, and because of the fight with the other opponents, she couldn't fight her, so they changed it and switched opponents.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question before you continue. I never thought that they was letting transgenders on fighting.
Well, if now, if you pay attention to the news and sports, transgenders are trying to get in most other sports. Like
now I heard some of it, but not leaked. I did hear somebody trying to they were when they track and field.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and other sports also. But Fallon Fox has been fighting for quite some time. All you gotta do is if you do a Google search for Fallon Fox, and you'll find some pictures of him, and she has fought quite a few other opponents. I think there's a video out where she fought a woman, and the woman looked like she'd been beaten to the post. And that's the debate that technically, even though technically you are still a man, you're even if you get the surgery like that, most of your DNA is still male dominant DNA. Even if you do take certain like estrogen pills or whatever else, you're not really, you might can change some aspects of your sex, but not too much of it. You can still have some residual, especially you're going to be in a competitive sport such as MMA. But I don't know if she's still fighting or not. But this been like I said, it's been a while ago. I remember I learned about this a few years ago with Coach. We talked about his fight at Ashley Evans-Smith. We're not a big fan of, and he said that she fought Fallon Fox. And who's Fallon Fox? I said, well, Fallon Fox is a transgender fighter. I said, what? And Ashley Evans-Smith beat her. I don't forget how she beat her. I think there might be a video somewhere. All you gotta do is put on, all you gotta do is go on YouTube. YouTube got most every videos. You can find it somewhere. Somebody got to post it something, or maybe Daily Motion or something like that.
Okay, so let me read this off before we continue. Come enjoy a real conversation with the number one grinder. Us as the righteous ones. Individually, let's make a change within ourselves and generally be there for each other. We all we got. Remember that. We all we got. All right. There's anything else you want to
Like I said, what you want to talk about? Because you're the I'm the sidekick. You're the host.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk. I want to talk about the other matches and stuff with the men and women.
Okay.
So
all right. Like I said, I didn't watch most of many of the fights, and like I said, not as many of the men as I should. I should really focus a little bit on the guys, but really I focus more on the women because, they, like I said before, they need more attention now. And Victor, like I said, they made a debut Friday, and it was the return. Victor is, if you know anything about Victor, and Victor is one of the is the only women's exclusive fighting organization. Now it's been around for quite some time. The president of that is lady by the name of Shannon Knapp. And for a good while, Victor was associated with UFC, and they also recruit a lot of their female fighters from Invicta, UFC. They used to recruit a lot of them, but the past few months, I think since Invicta has parted ways, kind of away from UFC, I think they hadn't recruited as many as they used to. They recruit from another company by the name of LFA, and also they have the Dana White's Contender Series. And they're probably going to think about doing a tough show for the atomweight division, which is the women will fight at 140, 105. Now, Victor also, what they did was they had a prelim show on YouTube. We had a couple of fights. They ended kind of quick. One fight, the lady just pretty much gave up. The other fight, the other girl, she just pretty much put the lady into submission. She tapped out. Then the main card, which is on Access Television, which I didn't see because, like I said, I don't do streaming. Anyway, there's two fights before that. I didn't really see that, but the two main fights were the co-main event, which was Lisa Zapatella versus Jessica Del Bone. And really, what I heard from the fight between Zapatella and Del Bone, which is fighting for the 115 title, which is atomweight for women's atomweight, it was kind of sloppy and disappointing. I like Lisa Zapatella because I follow her on social media. She's a little cute, short little thing. And she's a pretty tough fighter. But some feel like that Jessica Del Bone should have won that fight. And this gives it to Zapatella because she's the face of the division now. As you know, with UFC doesn't have an atomweight division yet, so she could sit there for a while. Or either she can go up and become a strawweight. I think she's more comfortable at 105. Now, then the flyweight division had Karina Rodriguez. And Karina's pretty popular. Coach, he did an interview with her about last week. And she fought for the title a while back. And she fought against the former champion at the time, Vanessa Porto. And she lost that fight to Porto, I think it was split decision. I think unanimous decision, whatever way I went. And she fought this girl named Diana from Brazil. And from Coach, he was doing commentary on that fight that other night. And really, Karina Rodriguez put a whooping on the other girl. She was putting a whooping, But, it just ended up unanimous decision in favor of Karina Rodriguez. And now Karina Rodriguez is the new women's flyweight champion over Invicta. The title was vacated by Vanessa Porto, who went to Bellator. And Porto had been fighting over there for a good while. And she was hoping to get maybe called up to UFC. But the thing with UFC is that if you're a certain age or certain look or whatever, they're not going to pick you up. There's some pretty good fighters in MMA, especially in some organizations, who are not getting opportunities because of either their look or, pretty much UFC is two things. It's sexist, racist, and ageist.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And like I said, Karina Rodriguez, she's a pretty good fighter, and she deserves this title. And she's hoping that she might get an opportunity to get called up to the UFC. But I think right now, with the UFC and they, who's that? Somebody in the background?
Oh, that's outside my door, man. I'll get closer.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me mute my mic and then I'll come back.
All right. But anyway, if anybody who watches Invicta is a great organization for opportunities for women in MMA to build themselves, build their brand. I mean, I think support Invicta. As you know, the new company that's with Invicta now, it's headed by Steve Harvey and Mark Cuban. So they have a little bit more deeper pockets, more opportunity to recruit more women. And that could be like at the level of UFC or Bellator, but still a great place for young up and coming women who need a starting ground for themselves. Now, if you really say also Bellator also had they had their show on Showtime, but their prelims was on YouTube. We follow YouTube, and they had a fight. They had one women's fight on the prelims, was a fighter from Hawaii by the name of Naba called I think it was the Lady Samurai. I forget how her nickname was, and against a little lady by the name of Christina. What's the name of the name? I always call Christina. I'm not gonna say her name. I'm gonna hate to chop it up. And pretty much the fight went like this. The other girl from Hawaii just beat the other girl who was she was a little bigger. But I think that's the problem was that she was starting gassing out because she had too much muscle mass. And that's the thing with a lot of these fighters. If you have too much muscle mass, it's going to be harder for you to try to maintain. Like you got to fight 3 rounds and then 5 rounds. So, and she just pretty much the fight ended with a referee stoppage around close to the end of the 3rd round. Now, as I said again, Valerie Relator made her return to Bellator. And I'm a fan of Valerie Relator. I mean, I know there's people who have issues with Valerie Relator because she sells herself as a sex symbol, but that's what you got to do. It's hard for these ladies to make some real money, especially if you're not with big organizations like the UFC. So you got to make yourself a brand, And she made a return, and I felt like this fight was going to be a fight she could win. But her opponent had a guy who's, just this is her first debuting fight at Bellator. She put up a good fight. One thing she did was she took Valerie to the ground a few times, a couple of submission attempts. Valerie, one point, was trying to throw some kicks that were just wasting energy because she was getting tired. And pretty much the fight went the way like this, that Hannah Guy won by decision. And this was Valerie's first loss in her career. She took an O. She lost her O, and that's just sad, And I like Valerie Relator, but I follow her on social media. She's kind of disappointed, but she says she got to get better. And like I said, she's just young. She's 22 years old, and and 22, you're still, she's a martial artist, a taekwondo. She's a master, but she's still young mentally. She still has that, social, like how how a lot of young girls are about social media, But she's a good fighter, and she just needs to really focus more and work on a few things, and and she could probably get better. And then also on that same, on the card was on the main card, which Janae Hollowport Hardy versus Leah McCourt. And that fight I didn't really see because I didn't have my Showtime, so pretty much from what I heard, Janae Hardy was beaten Leah McCourt pill the post. But what happened was right about the end of the 3rd round, Harding got hit with an up kick. Now, if you ever see a fight when sometimes the opponent falls back and the other opponent has the top of them and they're swinging their feet. Now, this is a funny thing. A down opponent can kick up, but you can't kick an opponent that's down. And she hits Harding with a kick in the jaw. And Harding kind of falls and then pretty much put her in a triangle submission. And pretty much that was it. And even though Harding was winning on the cards, that's all it takes. One little mistake. If she backed up, let her get up and get her standing, she probably would have won that fight. But she made a mistake and she got hit with an up kick. And then the up kick just took her out of the game. Anyway, in the main card, Cyborg versus Leslie Peace Smith. And there's no, if you make it, like I said, if I mentioned Chris Cyborg, I knew this fight was gonna go away. Chris Cyborg just beat the living, I'm gonna beat PG-13 crap out of Leslie Smith. She even threw him like a belly to belly suplex at one point during the fight, and it's just Leslie Smith took the fight. she wanted to get fight because you said there's opportunity, but pretty much she was fighting for money.
Yeah.
It's just there's no one right there in Bellator that's real competition for Cyborg. Nobody. There's one
Right.
part of Kat Zingano that's a possible, but Kat Zingano, she hadn't really been anything since Kat Zingano fought Amanda Nunes, and her fight with Amanda Nunes, Amanda was beating her, but then Amanda Nunes, if you know anything about her, she has stamina issues, and then Kat Zingano was just taking her and she was channeling. Kat was channeling Magnum TA with a belly suplex on Amanda Nunes. But like I said, right now I think there's no real competition for Cyborg over at Bellator. There's one point I remember Cyborg said she's thinking about doing boxing. Maybe she might do that for a while. Cyborg's 35 years old. Before her loss to Amanda Nunes, she's been undefeated for 12 years. 12 years undefeated. And and she's skilled. And people talk about, well, she could have put Reggie Smith out, but I think she just toyed with Reggie Smith a bit. She just toyed her like she's like a cat would do with a mouse.
Well, yeah. So tell the people the history of women's martial arts, please, before we continue.
Well, women's martial arts, like I said, hasn't been around as long as a lot of people think it. And as you remember years ago when Dana White was approached about women MMA coming to UFC, he laughed it off. Then he got Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey was the one who changed the face because there was women's MMA was around for good. Mostly it was like Brazil and some countries in Europe that had a lot of women's MMA. There's fighters like Rosa Sexton, Tara De La Rosa, Gina Carano, Cyborg was coming around that time. There was several other women who were fighting, who just legends now, back in the day. But America is our ideology of what women should be. America is a chauvinist country, but there's other countries that have been having women mixed martial arts for years, especially Brazil, where BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, come from. And they've been fighting over the years. And there's other countries like over in Europe, women fight for years. But, it just took a while for the American artists to catch up. And because of Ronda Rousey, we had women in boxing, but, women boxing was as popular. I mean, you remember the biggest star at the time was Leila Ali, if you think about it. And you had Aaron Wolf, and you had Christy Martin, Frida Cheetah Gibbs, and some other women. But, MMA was something different. It was a little more vicious, a little more violent. And then some people feel like women weren't going to be in it. But then Ronda Rousey came along, and then she really got more attention for it. She was the first bantamweight champion. She was the biggest star at the time of UFC. And because of her, other stars followed, like Chris Cyborg. Chris Cyborg was already started, but Chris Cyborg was just starting up. You had Misha Tate. You had Kat Zingano. You had several other women coming up. And then because of Ronda Rousey, the division got bigger. And the first big organization that had women's mixed martial arts was Strikeforce. And Strikeforce was owned by Scott Coker, who owns Bellator now. And and Ronda Rousey, Misha Tate, Chris Cyborg, Amanda Nunes all came from Strikeforce. But when Strikeforce folded, there was a lot of them to go. So then, some of them went to Victor, some went to other, organizations outside of the country because, there was a lot of organizations offering opportunity in the United States. But like I said, with UFC, you see a lot more fighters who lived in countries like Thailand, who lived in around in Europe and in Brazil, coming here in the States to come back and fight. Hello.
I'm right here.
Yeah, yeah. Just what from information I know, a little bit here and stuff like that.
Okay, let's get back to these matches.
Mm-hmm.
Pick one. Let's discuss about it.
Well, let's see. I think the one I'm discuss is this was one that I was certain that wasn't going to go the way it was going. That's Yan Zhanan from mainland China up against Carla Esparza. Now, Carla Esparza, you know anything about her? She is the first women's strawweight champion for the UFC, and she's been on a 4-fight winning streak. Since she's been there since her last fight. She won. She beat I think it was Michelle Waterson, and now she's on a 5-fight winning streak, and there's a possibility chance for her to fight for the title against Rose Nunes. Now, the fight, from a lot of people was thinking that Yan Jinan was going to beat the living crap out of Carla Esparza. I think they were saying, I think the betting odds had I think Jinan at 600 plus, and they had Carla Esparza at a negative, I believe, negative 500, something like that. I can't remember. I'm not good at betting. But what happened was Carla used her wrestling. Carla is one of the best wrestlers in MMA, especially for the women. You go Carla Esparza, you go Sarah McMahon, you go Juliana Pena, and a couple others. And she just totally took Yan Jinan down. At one point in the first round, she hits her with a shot and cuts her over her right eye. And Yan Jinan just bleeding. And she just Carla takes Yan down and just drags her and just wrestle her to the ground. And at one point, by the end of the midway through the second round, Carla put on a crucifix. Now, we know what crucifix is when you take your foot, you take your legs, you take your opponents, and you hold their legs, one arm between your legs, and then you hold them your other arm with the other end. It looks like a cross, like a crucifix, and you just drop elbows on them. And that's what the same thing that Valentina Shevchenko did to Jessica Andrade in their last fight. And it was she just dominated. And Carla Esparza's nickname is the Cookie Monster. So that night, the Cookie Monsters took Yan Jinan's cookies.
Yeah, I tell you, man. Whoa. Now let's talk about the history of men's martial arts.
Wait, okay. Let's start like this. Like, if you know anything about it, it was started by the Gracie family. And, it started from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I think it was I don't know was it Izzo Gracie? He was the father of it, and his sons Royce and the rest of them, they brought it here to the United States. And remember, it started off just basically like anything goes. I mean, you could fight guys. There was guys, 300 pounds fighting guys 100-some pounds. Guys who had military background, guys who were fighters, guys who were boxers. I remember one story was that John McCain, the late John McCain, the senator, he didn't like that because a lot of military soldiers were going into these things because they they had the military background. Some even were special forces like Navy SEALs, Green Berets, and other kind of military special forces going fighting these guys who martial artists, and they're getting beaten, getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was that the Gracie family, they didn't want to bring in these rules like that. So they sold the company to Dana White and his company Sufa. And then what Dana did was he created weight classes and divisions. And then that's what UFC came. It was originally, if you can find some of the old videos from back in the days, like guys like Ken Shamrock, Tank Abbott, John was it Severance, and the list goes on and on. Guys like also Ross Rutan, there's just so many legends from back in those days. And the UFC kind of grew from that, from just basically anything goes, kind of blood sport, kind of kumite kind of style. And then we created a new kind of fighting style. And if you boxing, a lot of the boxing fans didn't like it because it's too vicious, too bloody. As you remember, I said a comment that B-Hop called it gay sex in his mind because you're rolling around with guys on the floor, on the ground. But it was aspects from old school ancient fighting, like Olympic style fighting. If you like Greek, like the Greeks, like when they fought back in the day, if you remember the history of a Greco-Roman wrestling, when the Greeks fought, they fought man to man to the death back then. You fight a man till he died, and that was it. It was kind of like the return of gladiators. That's how people see it. Hello?
Oh, okay. I got something with the sound. Okay, you
Yeah,
can hear me. Okay.
yeah, I can hear you.
Now, okay, what's the future of women's martial arts? What do you think?
Well, it's a good future. It's a lot more women, younger women coming in. I mean, back in the
Hmm.
day, most women start off like tough competitions.
Right.
But then you have women like Ronda Rousey. She was Olympian. She won a silver. She won a bronze medal back in the Olympics. You have people like Kayla Harrison, who's fights with PFL. She's a gold medalist. You have some women who have, you know, backgrounds in wrestling, martial arts, boxing. I
Mhm.
mean, they transitioning from the other sports because, especially women's boxing, it don't get as much attention and don't make as much money. That's why Clarissa Shields is doing what she's doing because MMA is getting a lot more popular, especially for women. But it's still that mindset of men who don't freak the idea that women should be in mixed martial arts, especially because they feel like the women don't be as aggressive. There's not enough violence compared to the men. But
Mhm.
it's just like anything. You got to get his time. And you got to, some women, you got to wait till they get a certain level. Some women now are getting a lot younger. There's a fighter by the name of Macy Barber. She's supposed to be fighting in maybe in a month or so, and she's young. She's like in her 20s. We have fighters that are a little older, like Mario Renault, who I follow. We call her the Blues and Bruiser. She's 43 years old, and man, if you see her, you wouldn't think she was that 43. She is a sister. She's from her father's from Belize. Her mother's German. And if you see her, you if she if you if she if she said she was 43, you say, nah, you lying. You gotta be
Mhm.
30. You gotta be 30. So no, she's a teenage son in college. She's married, and she's 43. And she's a school teacher. She works as um a PE teacher in a high school in California. And she's been doing MMA for at least 10, 14 years about.
Mhm.
And she's an amazing person. I follow her on social media. She's a great person. And women are they're taking the time. They're not going to get the level as men. You're not going to get to levels of like John Jones, or a couple other guys in MMA. But there are some women who are there just as about as close. Let's say like Valentina Shevchenko, the Bullet, Amanda Nunes, Chris Cyborg. I mean, they're known, but still some people don't know a lot of these women by name. They might know them by face or they might heard of their name, but some are not as well known as others.
But there was one thing I want to ask you too. I noticed that throughout the years of lady MMA and everything, why women is not supporting it. I noticed that it be men be supported. They do. I do see it. But why there's still women is not supported?
Well, I won't say so much as men as women. There's still some men who don't support as much because the fact is, as you know, said again, this is still a male-dominated sport, and male chauvinism does not like to see the idea of they're seeing women fighting and bleeding and and gutting it out. They not as supportive. And women, how women are. Women and they have their own ideology of what a woman should be, but it's all dependent on the person you are. If you feel like you have interest in this, like if any ladies out here listen, if you feel that you have interest in something like mixed martial arts, all you gotta do is start simple. Go to a school. Like I have a friend, she's a professional bodybuilder. I suggested to her. She said where she works out at, they have it there. She think about doing it because it's a great way to learn something. Also great for self defense. You don't have to get into there's an octagon into a ring to fight, but it's a great way for self defense. It's a great discipline to learn. And you're gonna have those people who are gonna be supportive, people not supportive. And it's either both ways. You just can't say that men are gonna be totally supportive because most men are not. But generally, there is a good number of men who are. But there's also those guys who are, let's call them simps. Yeah, I'm guilty of it. Who follow women because they're attractive. They like to like they support them. But the fact is, they generally come. They come for the look of the female, but they stay for her fighting skills. They see her talent. They look past all the other stuff and see they have genuine talent. Now, sometimes, like anybody, there can be some people get kind of be a bit, how do we say it, obsessive as a fan, like any other sport and any athlete. But if you respect these ladies, what they do, because like I said, there's some guys who can't even do it themselves, and just realize that they come here to do a job, and they have to. You got to think about it. They had to get hit, kicked in the face sometimes, kicked in the leg, kicked in the groin or the knees, like that. I mean, you one thing with boxing, we get hit with fist. With MMA, mixed martial arts, you're gonna get hit with fist, elbow, a knee, your a shin bone. I mean, you're gonna hit with multiple appendices, not just two.
Yeah, okay. But I'm just saying that throughout the years, I know someone I said, why you support him? It don't appeal to them. And they said, we like rather see men fight. We don't see one. I said, really? Yeah. You'd be
Mm-hmm.
surprised, quite a few, but we don't like it. We just don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't, and there's some women say we don't want it to be shoved in our face. We like
Mm-hmm.
to see men. They do it. Like, nah, I don't have to go. Yeah, I like. Matter of fact, there's one time this lady I know, and it was like, you need to support women and stuff. No, I don't want to support it. I don't want to support it. Don't shove it in my face. I should have the right to support when I want to support. I love men when they fight. I do. I don't like women. It doesn't do nothing to me. And there are some that are like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's more like that ideology. Some women, they like to feel like this when the men are fighting, they're fighting for them. But we see two women fight, it's just like it can't get them uncomfortable because they thinking like they could be we reverse them. They're fighting for a man.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's okay and everything. So yeah, but
Mhm.
family. No, we James said he wasn't feel good, and Escate he said he wasn't feel good, and Brother Watch he just texted me that he couldn't make it or stuff like
Yeah.
that. If there's any more that you want to bring,
Well, like I said, there's some upcoming fights, as you know. Is
okay,
if
all right, let's talk about that, and then we close it up.
All right. A fight that I just heard that's coming up is Mackenzie Dern versus Maureen Rodriguez. And Mackenzie Dern is a well known fighter. She's very popular. She has a look to her. Here's the thing. She's from Arizona, born in Arizona. Her father's Brazilian. She's born in Arizona, but she often fakes like she's Brazilian. But technically, she's half. She's born. If you follow her on social media, you can find videos where she's talking like a regular Valley girl, and then because she knows how to speak Brazilian, she knows how to speak it, but she fakes a Brazilian accent. I've seen her after a fight, she had a translator comes in the ring. And I said, why in the hell you need a translator? You can speak English perfectly good as anybody else. You were born in Arizona. You only lived in Brazil maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe visit every now and then with your father, with see your family, but you're American born. You can speak it for you don't need no why the world you bring in a translator. And she faced Mario Rodriguez. Now, Mario Rodriguez, she knocked out a prospect by the name of Amanda Hebus a while back, and she fought
Uh-huh.
against a popular fighter by the name of Michelle the Karate Hottie Watterson. And they fought in 125, and she beat Watterson. And this is a fight that I don't know why they're making it. Some people say that originally they want Rodriguez to fight against Joanna Jacek, but Joanna Jacek is holding out for a title shot, which she don't deserve. And Mackenzie Dern, she's been pretty good. I mean, she only had one loss. That's against Amanda Hebus, the chick that Marina Rodriguez beat, and she has beaten some pretty good fighters because she has good BJJ skills. So the fight's not. I don't know the particulars just yet, but I know that they're signing it, and they'll probably make it official probably later sometime this week.
Okay, cool. Let me ask you this question: Who of the women? We're gonna do the women first. We're gonna do the men.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you think? Which one? Which women? It's an all-time great.
I'm going to say honestly, Chris Cyborg. Now, people say, well, man, Nunes. Like I said, I would say yes, she is all-time great, but Chris Cyborg went 12 years undefeated. Even though Amanda Nunes, knocked her out and broke her record, she went 12 years undefeated. Had one of the best records. She has a Grand Slam champion. She has won titles in 4 major organizations. She's been the featherweight champion. She's been the featherweight champion in Invicta, Bellator, UFC, and also Strike Force. So to me, she's the greatest.
Okay. Men.
See, that's a flip. See, gonna have to go with John Bones Jones. Probably one of the best, even though the stuff about him popping, but he's probably one of the best fighters. He has the best record. I used to be a big fan of John Bones Jones back in the day, but his antics outside the ring are not so fair. But he's probably one of the best guys right now. And right now John is trying to fight. He's trying to negotiate a fight with the current heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou. And Francis won his title by beating the former champion Stipe Miocic. And their negotiation, I mean, John really wants to get paid. I mean, you got to think about it. He's going up from John fought one at 205, which is light heavyweight for almost 10 years, I think. Right. And he's been champion in that division for quite a long time. There's some fights, he could have went either way, but he has, he fair wear than him. And right now he's going up to heavyweight. And Fresh Ngannou being the big guy now, he really is thinking like, you know what? If I'm gonna fight Fresh Ngannou, I want to get paid. And so I think that's fair. I mean, you should at least, think about it. These guys, they don't get paid as much compared to boxers. Think about it. Man, Floyd Mayweather, he barely ever get into the ring for at least nothing more than over $100 million. Right. But at the most, the top fighter would get maybe $5 million if it's depending compared to a boxer. I think one. I remember who I was talking about. I think the average, not even ranked boxer, ranked MMA fighter, would get no more than maybe at the most to about $12,000 to $15,000 per fight. And then if you get lucky, if you make a fight of the night bonus, you get back an extra $50,000, and then you get paid from the sponsors, whatever money they can give you. And that's the thing is, in MMA, these guys are fighting hungry. I mean, you got to think about it. They got to pay for camp, they got to pay for gear, they got to they can't even sometimes they can't really hold. Don't mean can hold a full-time job because they have to train. That's the thing about it. But like I say, John Jones is one of the best.
Okay, the Jad Marie. How you doing, brother? Let me ask you a question on Jad Marie. No, you can stay right there. Do you know anything of MMA, the Jad Marie? Let me know. If you do, you can get on the panel for a few minutes if you want. If you know MMA, come to let me know. I put you on. Yeah, for me, I would say only I can say Cyborg. So I know.
Yeah,
every time I know she wins.
Yeah, except for that loss with
Nunes.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that she won her rematch. She even her last fight against before the UFC dropped it was the last fight against Felicia Spencer, who got beat yesterday. She was having a shirt saying Cyborg Nunes 2. But because the fact that Dana White did not like Cyborg, he's prejudiced against her. They cut a contract. I think she had one more fight, and I think they're trying to negotiate a fight-by-fight basis on her. But she didn't want to do that. She wanted a solitary, either fight contract. Yeah, Nunes lost. Yeah.
Oh, TS Boxing. So let me ask you a question. Do you know anything about MMA? You can come up because if you want to. So TS Boxing, if you know anything about, I'm letting people know. If you know anything about MMA, you welcome to come up. If you don't, It's okay.
Yeah,
You
cool.
know, you have to come up. Jabbery, he said not much. Okay. You
Yeah,
can still stay there and listen, no problem. So
yeah,
TS Boxing, if you want to come up for a few minutes, okay. You know what?
yeah,
Yo, TS Boxing, stay right there.
yeah.
And George, you stay right there. I'm gonna put my email. Oh shucks. Let me get okay. Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not it either. Doggone. Okay. It's this shit like they don't want to work with me. All right, JT. Mm, 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 Let's see if we popping up.
And
Okay. Hold on, Joe. Let me get.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I can't shoot you the link. TS Boxing. Sip. That's my email. All right. That's my email right there. Shoot me right now of your email, and I get you on. And let me know. So do it right now. So I can send you the so I can send you the link to come to the panel. You gotta
Yeah,
do it real quickly, very quick. Thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead, G.
yeah. T.S. Boxing get a good point. Yeah, Daylight Right did lie because there was some kind of video that came out and Daylight White saw it. He thought it was made him bad image. It was just, it was either a problem with his attitude or with Chris's attitude. But Chris wore that shirt. She wanted that rematch, and a lot of people wanted that rematch. And his thing was originally, if like I said, I do like John Jones, but he, like I said, he messed up. John Jones, has had issues a long time with taking PEDs and other performance enhancers. And was it when the time when he was going to have his fight with a fighter by the name of Gustafsson? He had a picogram of a enhancer called Turnaball. Because he couldn't fight in Vegas, because of the rules of Vegas, they moved the fight to California. They fought in Anaheim. And then they had to move that fight, also all the whole card, Cyborg's fight and all the other cards had to move to Los Angeles because of John Jones testing positive for like a picogram of that enhancer. Now, here's the thing they could have done. There was supposed to be a UFC 232, I think, that year, but they didn't have a main card. But instead of, they could have did this. They could have kept Cyborg and Nunes in Las Vegas. And what happened was a lot of people got messed up because people had bought tickets. They had already got plane reservation stuff, and some of that stuff is non-refundable. You ever get like one of those plane reservations? It's non-refundable. That means that's money you have to eat. What they could have done was this. Okay, so John Jones could fight in California because even he said the picogram or whatever he had, and he could have just had moved John Jones and Gunnar Gustafsson's fight to California and left Nunes and Cyborg as the main event. Because he's not a fan of neither one of the ladies, is per se, he don't think they can main event. Because truthfully, Amanda Nunes, she can't main event a fight. Her last main event fight when she was just on pay per view, people walked out, and because she doesn't have personality, and her, even though she's a pretty good fighter, but she has no personality, and she's just
hold that thought, George. I just sent it to you, bro. So look out for it. I just sent the link. Watch out for it right now. After you get it, just come through. I just sent it. I'm sorry, George. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. But anyway, he could have made that if they kept that fight in Las Vegas and made Cyborg and Nunes the main event. I feel like Cyborg would have won that fight. But what I think they changed the venue. I think, and one thing also about Cyborg was she got hit. She usually goes out of her fighting game. If she kept her composure, and I think they're saying her corner people say keep your composure. Don't because she kept the composure. She could have beaten Nunes.
Got you. Hey, we got the one and only TS Boxing in the piece. Unmute your mic, introduce yourself. Let's keep this thing going.
Hey man, thanks for shooting me the link, man. The number one grinder.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I don't think I've met you before. You seem to know a lot about UFC. Oh,
Yeah.
what's your name?
My name is Underated George Page. I am the emperor of female bodybuilding talk. Most of my channel, I do a lot of bodybuilding talk. I do have my own shows where I do I talk about female bodybuilding. I talk about MMA, mostly women's MMA, because there's like at least 100 million channels dedicated to the men. I do also commentary stuff, satire. I have a couple personalities right now. One of my personalities right there is the Joker, because I like dynamite and gasoline. And also, I also go by another name called the Pervy Sage. So every so often, I drop some Pervy Sage videos.
All right, that's great, man. I like the name, the Emperor. I'm going to call you the Emperor if you don't mind.
He's the emperor of ladies bodybuilding.
A friend of mine told me go with King, but problem is everybody goes with King, and Emperor is more prestigious. If you remember, Napoleon, when he took over after they got rid of King Louis and his family, he didn't call himself the King of France. He called himself the Emperor of France. So that's what.
Okay, now we're gonna get to you, brother TS Boxing. Now tell me I want you to you was listening, so put your input on it and everything. Now also before that, if you want to get on, because as you know, I do MMA talk every Sunday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get on, let me know, and you more than welcome. But don't have to be people have to know MMA.
Yeah, man. I would love to. To be
And
honest,
also you can get on boxing too. I'm sorry, let me cut you.
no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for letting me on Boxing Talk too. I think you were about to say that. But to be honest with you, I know all our friends. All our friends were watching Taylor Ramirez. I was watching Font Garbrandt. To be honest,
Okay.
it was overlapping, and I was watching that because Taylor's style for me is just kind of, I don't know. I just knew what sort of fight it would be. But back to the UFC thing, man. Emperor, you were pretty much on point about that whole John Jones situation. Had them having to move the card. I think it was in Inglewood, actually.
Oh yeah, because
Ended
I
up
think
being there.
Inglewood, because that's where Cyborg got beat by Nunes, but then she beat Julia Budd a year later. Okay, correct. But I remember they was gonna try to do a show in Anaheim because they didn't have a main card, but they could have moved the show to Anaheim because John Jones could fight there because he had that pinkogram of Turnbull in him.
Yeah, that whole thing was kind of. I think they moved it all within a week.
Mm-hmm.
Less than a week they moved the show, but yeah, Dana White tried to lie on Cyborg to say that she didn't want the fight, which is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
She deserved that rematch, and she never got that chance. And now Nunes is, fighting some of these guys. I mean, GRINDA May, I think, is a good fighter, just not that. I'm not the biggest fan of Holly Holm.
No. Oh my God.
I don't know. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but
oh God, she gets too many
opportunities.
Yeah, because she was on a 4-fight, pretty much a 4-fight losing streak. She got beat by Misha Tate, then she gets beat by Valentina, then she gets beat by Duranime, and then she pops back where she knocks out Beth Correa, and Correa dropped her hand. I love Beth Correa. I mean, I'm a fan of hers. I like her. She's a good fighter. And that mistake she made, she was winning that fight. Some people believe, and I can't believe she was winning that fight. But then she dropped her hands because Beth gets. She's a good fighter, and she's out for a while because she had surgery, and she supposed to have fought last year, but she had surgery. She had to drop out of the fight. But Holly Holm just get opportunities, and she just beat Arena Daniel last year.
Yeah,
and she was supposed to fight. I think she originally supposed to fight Aspen Ladd, but Holly has some kind of issue with her kidneys. And Holly's been in the game too long. Being
like 40 almost 39 or something.
She's about 38, about 39. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's on her way out.
But only reason why
go ahead.
The only reason why she's still because she fits with the fan likes. She's blonde. She's white. She, like someone like Kate,
basically.
Man,
like Kate Lake Chapinian.
y'all took my answer, man.
I mean, she lays. It's the most.
You can't be slow, brother.
That's
Hey,
why.
man, you gotta stop taking my answers, man. Y'all can go. No, I just messing with y'all. I got.
All right.
That's why they want to dig up Misha Tate again and have
Oh
her
my God.
get into it with somebody. She's not tough enough for me.
No,
She's not tough enough. Some of these pretty girls. Oh, person I did respect, Kat Zingano, man. I think you know that story.
But right now, Kat,
Suicide a couple weeks or months before that Nunes fight and beat Nunes.
But she's not the same. Remember
Right,
she did an interview.
not the same. She had an injury or something. Or...
No, really, I think somebody said that really that fight with Amanda Nunes, because how Amanda Nunes hits hard. And that fight really kind of messed her up. Then plus, her husband killed herself, her father died, and she kind of like really fell off, a bit. And now she's over at
Her husband killed. That's right. Her husband did kill herself. I want to know did she have? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, husband killed herself. I don't know. He just killed herself.
Yeah, I don't know what went down.
And that just infected her. And then she was gonna, they wanted her to fight, but she said she had something to do. And then that's when UFC dropped her. And then she just, she had that situation because remember she used to have breast implants, and she got sick because of the toxicity from having those implants. So she had to get them out. And then and she just been a lot of medical issues with her for quite a long time now. And she's doing pretty good over at Bellator. But then, I don't think she's going to do too well against Cyborg. And she'd say she's been wanting to fight Cyborg for years. And then even though when they were on UFC, they never had it. And then now they're Bellator. And then that's it. That's this fight for, because Chris Cyborg did call out Kat Zingano.
Yeah. What do you think about the flyweights?
In which division? In which organization?
Women's UFC.
Well, right now, Valentina's dominant. I don't see anybody knocking her off. I don't see anybody. I think they're supposed to be next couple of fight for probably title contender is probably Lauren Murphy versus Jojo Carlwood. I don't see any one of them beating her. Nobody. Valentina is dominant. People were talking about how Jessica Andrade was going to hit her with one punch, and she took Jessica Andrade and ragdolled her. Yeah. She ragdolled Jessica Andrade. I mean, I think they may have to do an interim title for that division.
Interim? Oh, let me ask you a question, bro. TS, brother. I say question I asked him, then we're going to continue. Who, men and women, who is your all-time great champion? Men and women.
I mean, this always come into question. People say GSP, people say John Jones, Silva. It's between those three for me, but if I had to pick, John Jones.
Yeah, that's why I say John Jones.
John Jones.
Khabib
for me is not there yet. I mean,
yeah, he retired because he gave up his title because his father died from COVID. And his religion, his mother, I think he's the oldest of the children, I believe, and she wanted to be there for the family, so he gave up. He respects his mother and her wishes, and he gave up the title. And I think that's what even when he had that fight with Conor McGregor, when he told him to go take his money, he didn't care because that meant Conor McGregor offended him and his family, and you got to respect that about a man that he valued his family and his self being more than money.
Cool. Yeah. Let me say this. Brother Shane Go, the Eternal. Thanks for coming, but let me ask you a question. Do you know anything of MMA? If you know anything MMA, let me know. Also, it goes for women too. We welcome women to the panel too. If you know anything about MMA women, you welcome because we talk about men and women on here, right, George?
Yeah, we do.
We talking about both. So if you welcome, we welcome to come on the panel too. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Brother Shango. So answer the question, Brother Shango. Do you know about MMA? If you do, let me know. Now, all right, brother TS. What about the women?
I mean, I guess you have to give it to Nunes. I guess that's the common response. I can't really break it down. I don't really feel strong about saying that. It's just I don't know. It's it's the casual answer in me.
I'm a casual too, but like I said, yeah, she is a good fighter. We can say with that, but I think about her personality. I'm not a big fan of her personality. She has that, and she just, But like I said, I like Chris Cyborg. I like Valentin Shevchenko. Those are pretty good fighters.
Yeah, I like Cyborg. Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
those are good. Yeah,
yeah.
I like Cyborg a lot. I was just
Mhm.
really upset that she didn't get that rematch.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were because that's the fight. Because I don't see anybody. They talk about Kayla Harrison over it, but Kayla's not ready. And then there was a time that she supposed to fight Mika. They called out Mika Anderson, but Mika Anderson she dodged, and you see what happened to her.
Yeah.
She got choked out and armbarred at the same time.
Yeah.
She was knocked out, then choked out, and then cut right after that.
Treat her like a garbage stepchild. That's messed up, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's messed up, bro.
What was that? Who was it? Who was that? There was a bantamweight or whatever. He went on a podcast who called her a 5 a.m. or they said, "Would you
I
fuck?"
think it's Kenny something other. I think I remember that. Yeah, I think it was Kenny. Kenny Kern. Kenny, what's his name?
Casey
I know
Kenny?
Casey Kenny. Yeah, Casey Kenny.
Something like that. He called her a 5 a.m. or he said if they just fooling around at 5 a.m. or something, and it happened.
I don't really find her that she's too tatted for my taste. That's just she's too tatted. I mean, she's I would say she's attractive looking woman, but just she's just too extreme with the tattoos. I mean, I'm not I'm not a big tattoo fan. Like especially as I do bodybuilding. There's a lot of people who talk to, but it seems like it takes away from your look. You just like, especially if you get the ones like the back kind, like you like a Japanese yakuza gangster.
Oh yeah, Yakuza,
yeah. Let me make this announcement before we continue. Welcome. This is number one grinder. My channel is the Underrated Darkness. Well, if you know something back in the days, we could talk about that too, right, brothers?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
That's good. If we can go back in the day too, Shango. If you want the link, let me know. Let me introduce. We announce it as my channel is the Underrated Darkness, which is Underrated Darkness. Yours truly, the number one grinder. This is the Underrated MMA Sports Talk number 11. All right, we got George. We got George Reed, the Emperor of Lady Body Builder. Sorry. And then we got the one and only TS Boxing. And he talks about boxing too. And all that good stuff here. And Brother Shango, anyway, I'm gonna send you the link anyway. So if you want to come up, we could talk about back in the days too. We could definitely talk about that. Matter of fact, before we get to you, George, I want to introduce your channel on TS and also George. Then while I get Shane, when I send the link to Tango, then we continue.
Yeah, mine's just about boxing. I usually go live from time to time. I'll definitely be going live. Well, actually, I know for sure I'll be going live July 24th. That's my birthday weekend, and it's going down.
Oh, okay. Am I subscribed to you?
I think you are. I think you are. But we're gonna see a baptism, underrated boxing style. That's what I'm excited for. But usually boxing. I want to make more content, and I might do MMA. I know a decent amount I know a lot about men's MMA. So everybody does, but
Well, you welcome here, bro. I'm trying to give you a hint. You're not catching it, bro.
I know. I'm in. I told you I'm in.
Yeah.
All right, man. Then tell people that the number one grinder do. You know, I do boxing, but I do MMA too. You know what I mean? There's 11, dog. Right, George? George been practicing all of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know stuff. I know stuff too, dog. Don't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sleep on the
Yeah.
grinder. I got my hands and everything, dog. Put some respect on my trust. I'll smack you down. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
but tell people about it. Tell people on yourself, George. Tell people about it. I do MMA too, you know.
Yeah, he does MMA, folks. You know, we talk about MMA, me, him, our brothers, the Watcher, our brother James, Exeguche 23. We talk about the men, we talk about the women. You know,
yes.
we enjoy people come on here who share our common likes. You know, it's just guys just talking about MMA, you know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't be and women, don't be afraid. You welcome too. Come we told women. You can get on the panel too. We don't have no problem with that. Come on.
Yeah, we can, you know, we always use our perspective on MMA from the ladies, because you know, I think there's some women who are a fan of boxing more or less, because you know it's basically it's the you know, generic fighting style and combat sports. You know, boxing been around for so many years, you know, from back in the day, and you know, from so many people have, you know, been a fan of it. I was always a boxing fan, but I think the last few years it's kind of fallen off a bit. You know, a lot of great fighters have retired now. Nobody really is not really stepping like they used to. No one's fighting the best. They just, you know, as you just heard, Pacquiao probably fighting Errol Spence.
Yep.
Okay, we ain't talking about that. not now, but it's, you know, okay.
Yeah, but
what did you think about this weekend? Yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna ask me?
TS, you heard that Anderson Silva finally decided to retire.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, and one of his former opponents, Chris Weidman, he pretty much had the same incident that happened when he fought. Yeah, you saw that?
Yep.
It was, I think it was, who was Chris Weidman, and also a guy that's fighting Anthony Smith. They both had
the one before Jimmy Crute or something. But I heard it was something with a nerve or something weird with that guy.
I mean, that's just oh my god. You know, it's just
what happened to Anthony Smith? I know he picked up a couple of wins against some lower ranked to non-ranked fighters, but I mean that to share a loss, dude, was really, really bad. I remember watching that live, and that was not cool. I know he was. Right after the John Jones, he beat Gustafson, the underdog in that fight, rightfully so at that time. And I think he what was it? He put him in a was it rear naked or something, and then Gustafson retired. And I thought that Anthony Smith would be able to work his way back up, but then he lost 2 in a row, and
you know how remember how what happened with Alex Overeem? They just dropped Alex Overeem.
Yep.
I mean, it's just certain fighters. They drop Overeem. They dropped
guy's a legend.
Junior Santos. They dropped Dino Sanchez. They just dropped Taiwan Woodley, but they still keep Cabo Cerrone.
Oh, that is racism. Why that guy is still here fighting, I have no idea.
And losing too. I mean, he lost about 4 or 5 or 6, something like that.
Yes,
he's trash. Every time he gets in, now he's knocked out or loses a tough decision, and
he gets beat with a shoulder shrug by Conor McGregor. How in the world you took a dive?
But when he get knocked out, he be getting stretched out though.
And here's the thing about the Cowboy: his family's rich. He's not like these other guys who
very, very rich.
Very rich.
I'm telling you, they so rich TS. They so rich TS, man. We could live off their interest, yo. No lie.
Are they oil guys? What are they?
They might be, because you remember somebody used to always before everything got shut down, he used to bring his grandma, his wife, and his little son into the octagon with him. Yeah. It has to be oil or something like that, or land or something. I think he's from Montana.
somewhere out there. He wears that stupid hat of his. Like he just tries to be tough. He's a weird guy. Like I don't like him. I
Yeah.
don't really like him.
So like I say, it's funny how some fighters, like except for you keep fighters like Holly Holmes, Tisha
Yeah.
Torres, who's on pretty much on 4 fight winning streak, but drop poor Gonzalez after only 2 fights.
Right.
And it's just yes, it is racism because that's what it is. And also prejudice. I mean, then they pick up a fighter by the name of Dan Wolf who has no MMA background,
No MMA background.
put him against Tisha Tennant, who's beaten her, who's a better fighter. I follow Tisha Tennant, triple threat is a better fighter, and then don't sign her because they need to build up the bantamweight division. And then now you're bringing back old ass cupcake, Mission Hate, Cupcake Hate Tate.
Yep.
She needs to keep her ass back at home with her babies. Excuse my language. I mean,
Was she on her husband or something like that?
Remember it's her ex-boyfriend that was that stalking her.
Oh, okay. So they weren't married.
No, they weren't married. Because I think she married some other dude and they had 2 kids. And then she's supposed to have been managing another fight. I think who she was managing one time. And then she's supposed to have been like some kind of executive for one championship.
Mm-hmm. She's just not tough at all, man. She's just not it.
Yeah, Dana White paid for a nose job and some other jobs too. Yeah. And the only thing is she beat Holly Holm, but Holly Holm was not a great ground. She's a little better wrestler, and that's how she beat Holly Holm. But then she gets smacked up by Nunes, gets beat up by Raquel Pennington, and then and we all know that Ronda Rousey has her number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's so true. Yeah, man. Yeah. Brother Shango, if you hear me, send you the link. Oh yeah, anybody that wants to donate, my Cash App, it's on the screen right there. It's on Cash App's $ capital JT 53000. Also PayPal.me / all in caps JT Black 53 if you want to donate. Also hit the like button and share this out. This is the Underrated MMA Sports Talk number 11. We got the Ray Jaws and also we got TS Boxing. We chop it up with MMA, and we ain't gonna be here that long and everything. So so I'm saying like we gonna matter of fact matter of fact it seems like he ain't so let me ask you about probably 2 more questions. Each you're gonna ask, then we'll close it because I'm trying to wait for Brother Shango to see he got the link or not, so he want to come in. We could talk about matches back in the day because I think we're gonna do that more too, George. We're gonna talk about matches back in the day. Then we got TS Boxing. I think that we gotta switch it up a little bit, to make it more interesting. And also, Brother TS too, I will do a dream matchup of men and women of any era. You gotta be part of it. So I'm gonna see it's gonna be like on a Sunday, and I want people when I tell you time is to come, gotta come. Cause we're gonna have some fun, and also we're gonna try to get some women up in the piece too. So so they could be part of this too. Cause we're gonna do men and women. So it could be any era. So we're gonna have fun on that. Most likely instead of 7, I'll probably move it to 6. So we can stay longer. I'm trying to stay at least between an hour and a half to 2 and stuff like that. Or maybe who knows? We probably can go longer. You never know, but we're gonna stick to. I won't tell people right now. We're gonna stick to that. Also, we are going to do the injustices and racism of MMA. So we want you to be part of that too, and I hope we can get some women on there too. So we could definitely talk about that. So we got some stuff coming up. Most likely that's gonna be after my birthday, June 4th. And so and then let me announce it on right here now. In June, some part in June, I'm gonna do my very first the #1 GRINDA sports show. But let me explain this. I did have a sports show in the past on my channel, but I did it with another brother. He co-signed with that. But this time it's going to be me. So I'm going to bring some sports. We're going to talk about different stuff and everything. But I will let you know because I want people to come and stuff like that. Brother Mace Taggart, he already let me know that on my first show, he's going to be a special guest and stuff like that so we can get it on. That's going to be like the week of my birthday or it's going to be after. I don't know yet. So it really depends. So let me ask you. I'm gonna ask this question is too. Matter of fact, let me ask you, TS, because I asked you already. What do you think? What do you think what do you think the status of MMA right now, men or women?
I think it's in a. I think as far as exposure, it's in a pretty good spot, but there's still a lot of the old cobwebs in there, like the racism and the.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of guys in that organization. Like, there's no reason why some of these guys are getting paid like only 500,000 for a main event. You know what I mean? Like some top tier guys, like what was it when I don't know how much they got of the pay per view revenue, but they were only guaranteed 500,000. The two of them, what's his name, BC and Miocic, and I think it was the first fight, like things like that.
That's sad. Yeah,
John Jones and another one, he's not getting paid like, and I mean they need to. It's this Iaquinta. You probably know this, the Emperor. You probably saw this.
yeah.
Iaquinta a long time ago says they give these guys little bonuses to keep everybody in check, like a slave system.
And if you remember, there's a fighter, as you know, she fought Cyborg, Leslie Smith. She was trying to do a union, but the problem was what Leslie Smith did was she told everybody when you do something like that, you move in silence. You only trust a few people you know, keep your mouth shut. And the problem is, too many fighters are worried about the short-term money instead of the long-term money. And and people are against unions. Unions existed. And, they create unions when back in the day when people used to work 15-hour days for maybe $2 or $3 a day. And and people didn't like that because who hate unions? Rich people.
Yep.
They hate
Amazon. Look at Amazon. They're union busting right now. They're trying to get up all of these factories. But Randy Couture was one of the first people to really put that out there. Didn't he go to Congress about this stuff?
I don't know. Did he?
Or was it a pension, medical pension? He went to Congress about something.
Because you think about it.
Randy Couture.
Because you got to think about it. You risking your life, your health. Some of these people, you got to think about it. Compared to boxing, MMA, you're getting hit with multiple penises. There, you could get hit with an elbow wrong. You could be hit with a knee in the wrong place. I mean, you could be choked out too long. I mean, there's been stories of MMA fighters dying in the ring just as much as a boxer. You remember years ago when when Boom Boom Mancini killed a guy in the boxing ring.
Yeah,
and he retired. Yeah, he retired after that because it affected him.
Yeah, he went.
No, go ahead.
He did go. I don't know how long it was, but it was for the Muhammad Ali Act. They're trying to push into MMA, and they actually tried to stop Randy Couture. The UFC tried to go behind the scenes and stop him from testifying in Congress.
Yeah, and you look at boxing right now. Jake Paul, who's this YouTuber, he's calling out. He just what happened to Ben Askren, and it's just Askren. How much Askren got? He got nearly $500,000 for getting knocked out. Where and then Conor, he went and fought Floyd. Floyd got like probably $100 million for that fight. Conor maybe got like $50 million, and then the rest of it and a good part of it went to UFC. Danny, he had to get his cut. Daddy Danny got to get his cut.
Yep. And I thought what I heard recently about this whole GSP thing was ridiculous. I had no idea that GSP, he had that the retirement that he did came with a freeze on his contract.
Oh God.
He cannot fight De La Hoya on Triller because of this contract that he has with UFC. That's why it was stopped. UFC stopped it from going on because they pushed this contract.
George St. Pierre, he's a
UFC.
I know. Okay,
yeah.
I know.
And yeah, because Trill it's a big thing now. I think somebody said Tyron Woodley, he might want to fight Jake Paul, or some other fighters.
You don't understand. It be usually I don't know, or maybe it's me. You YouTubers be getting banged, man. I need to get in there. I need to get some of that, man. Oh.
They're about to do. My brother showed me. They're doing it. Another like a whole YouTube talk card where the best talkers and the best YouTubers fight each other. It's a social media event, apparently.
Because
that don't make no sense, man.
Well, you got to think about it now. Social media has grown the last few years. I didn't have my first computer till like about 98, 99. And then back then it was like dial up. Now you have, and it has grown from that. It's just, and more people, follow like guys like PewDiePie. He was a big star when he came out. And it's just social media is taking over. I barely, like I said, I'm on my computer more than I watch television. And, and it's just, and you got these YouTubers like Jake Paul and his brother, people I follow on YouTube like Haha Davis, and all these other ones. I mean, they're the new stars. And that's why Hollywood is having a hard time. Movies not doing as well. They're not making as much money like they used to. I mean, more people at home. You can even make a TV series on YouTube, make movies on YouTube.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, we're gonna make our last remarks. George, you're gonna make your last remarks. You're gonna stay. TS Box, you're gonna make your last remarks. I want you to stay. I want you to both of y'all gonna stay, and then I'm gonna make my last remark. We're gonna close it out as a family.
Okay, I really appreciate it. Nice meeting you, TS Boxing. I really appreciate this time to talk on this platform, with the number one GRINDA.
I like that.
Yeah. And like I said, really, really like I said this. Give out there, I know some of you guys are not a big fan of women MMA. Give it a chance. Some of these women, they fight with their hearts. I remember weight boxer by the name of Ann Brown Sugarwolf said, like, men, when they fight, they act like they're making love. When women fight, we fight with our hearts. We fight to the death.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was definitely. It was definitely great meeting you, man. The Emperor, of course, the number one grinder. I just want to get back to your point, Emperor. Yeah, what you were saying about some of the women. My favorite women boxer of all time was Ann Wolf. I love knockouts. I love punching power. So when I see things like, even in MMA, it doesn't happen as often as I would like, but when it does happen, it's great to see some of these devastating, knockouts. That Rose Namajunas knockout. You had the Shevchenko Jessica I one, and you can keep going on and on. Mm-hmm. And they're getting better, and they're sitting down on their shots more, and I think if they do more of that, they'll definitely have even more fans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's your last remarks?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I got you. You just lucky you're making a comment. I ain't know, I told you you was gave a little commentary. Like, goddamn, I said, man, last month, goddamn.
I thought we were. I can give. I can talk.
No. That's all right. No, that's all right. I just messing with you. I want you to stay right there. Do not go nowhere. Despite George, despite It's Gotcha show got there, and brother Watch. I hope y'all doing all right. Come back strong next week, and then we got a TS boxing. So are you gonna be a regular?
Yes, sir. We
Okay.
talking about MMA. Yep. Yep.
Okay, and then and also I'm gonna get you in boxing too, and also I just find out that I'm 17 away from 2,000.
Wow.
I checked it out a few days ago. I said, "Oh snap, 2,000." So yeah, underrated. Well, yeah, man, no one grind. I'm grinding. You know me, I'm grinding. So, but I want to thank y'all so much for making this happen. Very much appreciated. We really enjoyed myself. And I want you to go check out. I did a live not about a few hours ago about we as a people we need spiritual counsel. It's on Facebook. It's on my Facebook, and also but it's on my YouTube page. So I want you to go check that out. I want your brothers to go check it out. Please share this out and put some likes on that too. Put some comments on it. We got comments. So please put some comments on boxing, MMA, and the other stuff. Please, we need comments. We need comments. We need comments. We need comments. Very much important. And I want to thank your brothers and peace to y'all and your family. We wish your family to be safe. And the ones in the chat, I hope be safe in your families. If you go out, please travel safely to your destination or at home. Okay, be smart. Okay, when you travel, please think smart because because the climate out there is crazy. I don't want nothing to happen, none of you that I know. But until next time, good night. This is the end of the Underrated MMA Sports Talk number 11. Number 12 be next Sunday. But this one is Ghost.